Hey, welcome to Wait What? A new show between Jesse and Dre. We're coming here just having a straight conversation, none scripted, just talking about everything that everybody else is talking about, except giving very same but different views on the world. How's it going, Andre?
Yo, dog, what up? What up? It's all good and lovely,
So this is our premiere show, man. We want to just have fun with it.
right?
Hopefully, we start building up a following, getting people to come live. If people come live, they can chat with us by sending us messages and comments. They can also if they send us messages, we can pop up on the screen. They can give us phone calls, but you gotta follow us on Streamyard, and it's easy. Once you get connected and stuff like that, it should show you how to call in or talk in. You might want to come on and be a guest. You can contact us about that. Uh, and guest host, we doing everything, all types of ways, just having fun. Trying to give you straight conversation from everyday people just like you. All right, so what you thinking, Andre? How you like what you think about the show? Our new endeavor of beating each other up.
I'm, dude, I'm so used to like us going at each other on Facebook, and because I mostly, honestly, dude, I normally just pick opposite of whatever it is you say because you're entertaining. I
What's
ain't gonna
funny about
lie.
that, man? I used to talk about. To be honest, it's sad though because I used to like do. You know me, man. I used to have topics all day, but
Right?
then I stopped. I haven't had topics in like.
No, you haven't.
I just stopped having topics because it was just. I started feeling like too many people were really, really mentally ill, more so, and I thought I was like poking and kicking a bear,
Right?
and it was like I started feeling bad because like there's so much information and misinformation, and people like literally do. I just thought like what. I can't kick the bear. And then, I said, like, since I don't do it on Facebook anymore, hey, why not start a podcast where if you tune in, you tune it in and hear me talk. But on Facebook,
Right?
I kind of toned it down because literally some of the stuff out there, I'm just like,
Th-
people are
th-
not healthy. Like,
Dude,
people
there's
are
some
just not healthy.
cringeworthy stuff, man.
And it's sad because we live in a information age where everything you want to know is at your fingertips. You can have you can have different opinions about like how things should be or how things should run, but facts is facts. Now facts are like opinions can be like facts, and it's funny because people will say like, "Well, that's not wrong. It's just my opinion." Like, no, it's wrong. Your opinion can be wrong.
Right? It
like,
can be.
and it cracks me up. They're like, no, no, no. It's just my opinion, which
That's
means
not
like
how it
you
is.
can't be
No,
against
you
somebody's
wrong.
opinion, right? And it's like it's right or wrong, But like I say, it's different ways to view things.
Right.
You can view it however you want, And there's different opinions that's logical. So you being a right wing conservative,
Wow, we've had this conversation. I am a libertarian, right wing conservative. My ass, man.
you might not be a right wing conservative, but
We've had this
you play what on
conversation.
TV. So
I play. Wow, I
nah,
used to
I'm
be
just
cool with
kidding.
progressives, man.
Hey, you know what? I learned one like so. One thing I heard from a conservative that probably made more sense than anything I heard in politics from anybody in years to come. They was asking Adam Kissinger
Right,
from Illinois. Is that his name? They was asking him what he thought about the progressive wing and how just what he thought about it, and how does he deal with it? And he made this comment that I just never heard before, and it was amazing. He's like, "Well, what people don't understand is that conservatives need progressives, and progressives need conservatives.
yep.
Conservatives need progressives to pull them forward, while progressives need conservatives
To
to
hold
slow them
y'all
down."
back.
You're
Right.
right, to hold them back. And I never heard that before, and I was just thought that was like the most logical, amazing, balanced comment
The-
maybe I
yeah,
have ever heard. Like literally, I was that amazed.
because there got to be
I
a
just
balance, dog. There's got to be a balance, right?
yeah, and I
Um,
never thought about that.
right, because
Because
you guys, well, progressives, it's everything. First progressives want everything. Like, well, not all progressives, but let's just start with like the free college, right? instead of being very specific, right? Progressives just went all the hell in. Like, I want to be able to go to Yale for free, like, right? And it's like, no, you can't have that. But if progressives like, look, community colleges or trade schools should be free. That's something everybody can get on board with, and it makes sense, right? But you can't just be like, well, colleges and universities should be free, all right, and which would be awesome. But then the requirements to get in are going to keep a lot of folks out, and then people are going to be like, well, it's too hard to get in, like. So you just make it trade schools be free, which everybody would get down with. Who can argue with that? Trade schools should actually be free, and community college, to be fair, should probably be free, right?
Except that they took that out of the last Biden bill, right?
Right. Oh my
God. Progressives didn't do that. You say everybody could get on board, but they can't.
Biden,
so
like, good luck with that.
Biden didn't take it out. Manchin made sure it didn't come out probably. But you're right. But the thing is that again, it's such a difficult role because like progressives feel like if we don't get it now, we're not gonna ever get it. So now is the time that we push for things because it's like you live in a world of like we need this, and the rest of the world is leaving us behind. And that's the problem is that while we wait on people in Washington to figure these things out, the world is still moving.
Right.
It is. And that's the difficult thing, like we my friend Cass just said, Jesse, I got a flip phone. Man, I thought about Cash when I thought about like the one person that's not gonna be able to call in is my friend Cash who call in all the time. Right. Because he got a flip phone, but I'm gonna figure it out for us, Cash. I'm about to
I probably got a flip phone, man.
He does, and you gotta have like like in a new age technology, you gotta be able to use Google or something. But hey, shout out to Cash for tuning in. I knew he'd be here, and I'm gonna figure it out for you, Cash, because you're my guy. So, but yeah, that's the whole thing, man. Is that we have to not let the world pass us by, right. And that's what we're doing.
Oh, we are.
In everything.
And it's just because, one, people are afraid of change, right? People are really have to change. And I think that impatience causes some problems because there's a whole lot of things that need to be done before the progressive agenda goes. There's some other things that should be actually taken care of first. Other words, and I hate to say it like this, but Black folks, we need to stop getting asked to wait, right? I'd much rather everybody else wait, let us get ours, and then, go on ahead and let everybody else get what they needed, right? Because we are going to be the ones, oh, sorry, we got to take care of the LGBTQ. Oh, nope, sorry, got to take care of blah, blah, blah. Nope, sorry, got to take care of them first, right? We just keep getting pushed back. And at some point, enough has to be enough. And that's why
But part of that is that Black people are Americans too. I hear you, and it would be nice to get some things that's like straight directed toward Black people. It's probably not going to happen in this country. The thing is when other people, serious, but when other people progress, when other people progress, when other groups progress, we can progress along too. Because in this day and age, it's kind of hard to straight out separate Black people from other groups, like it used to be able to. And that's what people don't understand about the systematic racism that happened in the 60s and the 70s forever. It's still impacting us today because they were able to exclude certain groups. They're like, hey, we're going to have a market. We want people to own houses, but you can't buy a house unless your grandfather owned a house, things like that. And it's like, well, that's not racist. There's a lot of people grandfather that own a house. And it's like, yeah, but it overwhelmingly impacts Black people because none of our grandfather owned houses, And that's what people don't understand. Like, it's not targeted toward Black. Like, well, it might not be targeted toward Black, but it impacts Black people or people of color more than it impacts everybody else, and that's the thing about systematic racism is like it might not be directly like, hey, this is a race issue, but it also you have to look at it like I remember I was talking to somebody and I was talking about the impacts of COVID on the Black community, and they're like, oh, so now you're saying COVID is racist, and I'm like, I never said that.
Wow, no, really?
Because there's lack of healthcare and lack of access to health facilities in the Black community, there's gonna be more of an issue in Black and brown community, and that's what people don't understand. Like, no, I'm not saying COVID is racist, but I'm saying that because we have less resources in our communities, because we don't have clinics, because we don't have healthcare, because we don't have doctors, we don't have friends that's doctors, like we don't have access to the same information. That's going to create a lot of issues. Like another good example is like diabetes. Is diabetes racist? No, I didn't learn about diabetes until I was diabetic. I have never heard about it. And that's the thing. It's like I went to the hospital one time, doctor, and they're like, you're diabetic, right? And I'm like, what?
You didn't have an auntie like I gotta take care of my diabetes. You didn't have an auntie that had diabetes. You didn't have one, or uncle that had diabetes.
I don't know anybody that talked. I didn't know what that was. And I didn't think it impacted me. I never had like where I went to regular checkups, where I had a doctor. Once I got older and started working and stuff like that, of course I had like a doctor and stuff like that. But coming up as a kid, I ate as much candy as I could get my hands on, potato chips, and then by the time I found out about diabetes, it was too late. I was already diabetic, and I know how I should be eating, but it's too late. I already developed bad habits that I keep till this day, which is not good. But I mean, if we're not educated, and there's not people in the community that educate us about it, that know about it, then how are we going to learn about it until it's too late? And that's why so many of us are impacted by things like diabetes.
Right.
But
COVID wasn't racist. I got that. And like, what I don't get is the people who are hesitant about the vaccine. I understand I understand why they are hesitant about it. There's some of them. Like I had a family member who was affected by. I have a family member who was affected with the Tuskegee experiment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I understand that, but the problem is, folks wouldn't get the flu shot. Folks go out and people got that measles shot, right? These are all vaccines, so they don't cure them forever, but they make it so you don't get it, or if you do get it, it ain't gonna kill you. And that's what this vaccine is. It's not about, oh, this is gonna stop you from getting it. It's all about, well, what happens here is you might get a little sick, but you ain't gonna be in the ICU, which means you not being in the ICU, or you had a heart attack, ain't gonna die.
Assuming you don't have other issues that go along with it, like because people are going to bring up like Colin Powell, he had cancer, which we already know.
7,000 years old.
Yeah, but he also had cancer, which we know impacts how the vaccine works. Somebody posted that one portion of your statement I disagree with. We have access to the same information, just don't look for it. And that's again the reason why this is like this is a good point, but it also only shows half of it. Of course, we have access. I just said we have access to the same information. We just don't
take advantage of it.
Tell you about it. You don't know that there's information out there about it. So, for example, when I was in grade school and I was in high school. I had straight A's.
There's no access.
I didn't know I could go to college until somebody came. One of my teachers was like, you can go to college. I'm like, without anybody in my family going to college and knowing what it takes to get to college and doing all that, how am I supposed to even know or believe that I can go to college if nobody around me been to college or nobody around me knows how to get to college? So
if you don't see it, it's not real.
Right. So yes, anybody could look up information, but how are you going to look up something you have no clue that the information even exists, or you don't know about it? And that's the only thing I meant to the Facebook user that commented, is that it's easy when we don't understand. I mean, when you don't know that the information is out there, how are you going to look for something you don't know? So, hey, Andre, we're going to come up against our first break. Let's take a couple minute break and we'll come right back and get right back at it.
All right, bet. Yay.
I'll tell you, like Tatum's numbers don't look great, but I think he's played outstanding offensive basketball. Well, that ball movement that you just talked about, and that Tatum has talked about, to get to the next level, has been very evident. And Brown's made a couple of really nice passes, not necessarily resulted in assists, but because they missed, but good plays. Robinson, another offensive rebound. And a foul is on the side-to-side swipe.
I can't send nothing. Are you kidding me?
How many different Celtics have defended Julius Randle in this first half? He's seen everybody on the floor try to take a stab at defending him. Well, they've done a lot of switching, so you get multiple guys on him. He really hasn't had any problem except with Smart. I would try to keep Smart on him as much as possible. Celtics in the penalty. That's why Randle on the line coming up to at halftime. The Sixers debut without Ben Simmons, suspended, conduct detrimental to the team. Right at halftime coming up. Randle hits a pair. 22 from Randle. Celtics by 1. A very exciting opening half of the season for these two teams here at the Garden.
Now, why can't I send these things?
Austin back up by 3. Perfect execution live with a 5-2. Walker gets inside, shot blocked. Brown comes up with it. The matchup they won is Tatum being defended by Randle. Shot clock turned off, no fouls to give you.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, so I see you watching the game, man. But hey, you ready to get back here?
Oh, yeah.
People been really going in on his one thing that people really been going in on is cancel culture. So cancel culture, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Is that how is, what do you think about cancel culture? Me, I think it's good and bad. I think hey, Thomas Jefferson just got canceled in New York, right? They removed the statue of Thomas Jefferson from the Congressional Hall.
Well, it ain't like Thomas Jefferson was kind of dirty pool, but he was a dirty individual, right? I think that's funny, to be honest with you. We was just talking about that in Clubhouse with the trolls. Shout out to the trolls, man. Check them out on YouTube. It's just T-Rolls. They're hilarious, dog, but they have some good points. But with the cancel culture, it's all about, if you catch it now, if it's something that they did now, I'm all in. Go ahead and cancel them because people know what they know, whatever, right? But you can't cancel somebody just because you got offended. It should be the type of offense, right? Not just because, well, I'm offended, so I should cancel your ass. That ain't how it should work. That doesn't make any sense to me. You don't have the right in the United States of America with free speech. You don't have the right to not be offended. You literally, free speech means you will be offended. Now there's some things that people should be canceled for, like outright racist stuff. If you go out and you rape, if you go out and you kill somebody, you need to be canceled, whatever. Unless it's in self-defense, then maybe you get a raise. But like you shouldn't get canceled because when you like Justin Bieber, let's cancel him because of what he said when he was 14. Never mind the good stuff that he's done the last 11 years. Let's just focus on what he said in 2009. I didn't like that with Bert Kavanaugh. I think that was dirty pool. Bert Kavanaugh was going to high school during the Porky. You remember Porky's, right? You remember that show?
Yes.
Porky. Come on, right? During that point in time, that idiot, that guy got up on the school bus and apparently he pulled out his Johnson, was waving it around, whatever. But that was the Porky's days, right? Now he's 50s, he's 60 years old or whatever he is, and they're like, well, back when he was in high school, he pulled out his dick and he flashed it around the school bus. Well, awesome, put him in jail for that back then. But now it's completely different now. Did he do it last week? You can't go back and do this. You cancel folks for what they actually do. That's really, really bad. Roseanne got canceled because she made a joke, but if people actually looked at the picture, to be fair, she wasn't wrong. Like, I hate to say it, she's a comedian. right? Now they're canceling comedians for being funny. She wasn't being racist. She was literally, well, she ain't wrong, right? The chick, they looked alike. If we're gonna be honest, there has to be space for it. We just canceled her because we're good.
Okay, I forgot what she said until you actually said that. But yeah, she did. Yeah, she said something about Jared looking like Planet of the Apes, right?
And they never did
But
a side by side. They never put up a
yeah,
side by side because
but
they knew she was
okay.
right.
But the thing is like there are certain things, even for comedians, that's off limits, especially depending on a certain type of comedians. You can't compare black people to monkeys or apes. It's just like you just can't. I don't care how funny you try to be, you just can't, and you should know that if you're going to be a public figure. So I'll tell you this.
She just said she looked like the lady who played on
You
it.
can't.
The fact is,
You can't.
What do you say?
You cannot compare black people to monkeys or apes in this day and age. It doesn't even matter. You just can't do it. Like, I mean, find another joke. Find another joke. You can't. So my thing is this.
Because I can say she looks like an ape.
Yeah, but let's be real. I mean, if you're a white person, you just can't do it. I don't care what in what context and how you're trying to do it. You just can't. So this is my thing about cancel culture. I actually agree with cancel culture because some people need to be canceled. And if you say something, you should be like, we have to be able to hold that over people's head. We have to be able to hold people accountable. And let's be honest, cancel culture, as long as it's not being canceled by the government, it's fine. If you're being canceled by a corporation, that's their right, because they have to be holding to their customers, and we can hold them accountable. If you're being canceled by people, that's their right. There's no problem with that. The problem is if you're not supposed to be canceled, then you should people should be able to have that right. You talk about people First Amendment. Cancel culture is people first.
Yes.
Thing is, what I don't. The part that conflicts me is like when you try to put today's lens on something that like 200, 300, 400 years ago. Thomas Jefferson is a good one. Was he a bad person for oldest slaves? Yeah, I mean, yes, but he also was a man of his time. Where I mean, it was normal during that time, and it was bad during that time. But it was like, I mean, again, it's everybody's prerogative to cancel people for whatever reason they want, and I have no problem canceling people. But also, I just can't judge Thomas Jefferson with in 1700 with the lens of 2021. I just can't. But I don't have a problem with people that do. So I would say that if people want to cancel him, I could care less. I won't cancel him. I mean, I don't really have he's dead for like 200 years. I mean, I really just don't, one way or the other, it just doesn't bother me. Now, Robert E. Lee and the Confederate flags, those all should be canceled because they were traitors to this country, and I don't know why they're not treated as traitors. And like, I mean, and they lost. Like, you can't lose a war and be honored. You can't fight a war against America, lose, and be honored.
I'm a Vikings fan, man. We can lose, and I will still act like we won. You used to be a Bears fan. You know how it is.
And that's the reason why I can't keep losing and pretending we're gonna win. You know, like I stopped watching football because of the Bears. I watched football every time it came on TV for 2 years. And it's funny how I stopped being a Bears fan. I figure in this day and age, like, dude, if you could get like whole show series delivered when you want, you could get Netflix delivered when you want. Like, why can't I just get a championship and a football team delivered when I want? No, but the reason I stopped being a Bears fan is because I told myself one time they were like 3-3 or something, and it was like 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I was like, and they lost, and I was like, I am not watching the game again until they 500. Dude, this went on for like 3 seasons. They never got 500. They started off the next season 0-1. And I'm like, then I found myself like, I wasn't even watching football. I'm like, dude, this cannot be what a fan is all about. You get so miserable that you're not even like, you can't even watch the games because your team can't get to 500. So I made a year announcement. I gave everybody a heads up. I not like coming to America. I now denounce that I'm a Bears fan, and everybody's like, what? And so I gave it a year, and then I chose a new team, New England, and then I won a Super Bowl in the first year.
The South is kind of like that too, though, right? Like they lost, but they got their little flag, and they're like the South. Because remember, the South. The thing about the South is, what is the South shall rise again. right? Whatever the hell that actually means. Like, where the hell are you gonna go? You know? But like, I think with like when they like we removed all their statues. I was against removing the statues, just keep them up and make them teachable moments because now they don't exist anymore. So it's like literally it's just erasing it. They were very teachable
Well, they
moments. So
still.
this is what happened. They or moved all the statues to like a museum or something where or
Well, they are
somehow
moving them to museums and other places. So people that want that information can go find it.
they can go get it.
I'm sure, or they can go in the South and look for Confederate flags, and I'm sure they'll tell
Well, here's
about
my
their
thing: are they
history.
going to blow up Mount Rushmore?
I thought about that today when they removed. Hey, it's in South Dakota, right? And then I let it happen.
Do you realize? Do you know the KKK paid for Mount Rushmore, and it's
No,
on
I didn't know
Indian
that,
land?
but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
But the thing is like,
it's fact.
again,
The KKK paid for Mount Rushmore, and it's on Indian land. That's the biggest insult in the world.
well, I mean, I don't know who paid for it. I know it is very monumental to the U.S. And again, like when it comes to stuff like that, I personally just don't have a problem with it. But also, I let people like we talk about freedom of speech in this country, freedom of speech, and the people that's uh, calling for the cancel culture. We have to remember that they're not the ones making the decision. So we can be mad at them
Right.
all we want. They're not the ones with the ultimate decision. All they doing is voicing their displeasure, and the powers that be are the ones that's actually making the decisions because they have. And the powers that be is not making the decisions in a vacuum. They're weighing out like, all right, is it going to cost us more money? Is this going to benefit or hurt us to leave it up or take it down? And they're
Right.
weighing it out because in America, everything is about money. And it's like, dude, financially, should we leave it up or take it down?
Right.
More people want it down, we're taking it down. More people want it up, we're leaving it
Money
up.
talks. Money
And
talks. Like
of course, I mean,
that is what it is. So I think with the cancel culture, it's literally because there's a lot of things that should be canceled. Here's my problem with the cancel culture. We want to cancel people like Roseanne, but we don't cancel the motherfuckers who out there shooting up the neighborhoods.
but the difference is, how do you cancel people shooting up the neighborhoods? They're criminals, dude. They're going to jail if they get caught.
Hold everybody accountable. We cannot only.
How do you hold them accountable? How do you hold them accountable?
Huh?
How do you hold them accountable? They're criminals. How do you hold a criminal accountable outside of him being arrested and going to jail? That's like a misconception.
That's cancel somebody. That's holding accountable. But in our community, we don't hold folks accountable. We have.
How do you hold people, dude? But see that again is like a stance that I can't agree with. So why do we need to like? We pay taxes like everybody else. We got police officers. We have all of these groups, but you want us to stand on a corner and go out there and be like, hey, you're a criminal. Stop doing what you're doing. No, that is not expected in any other community.
Says, did you see who shot this 3-year-old little girl? We want everybody who saw that shit to say, yes, that motherfucker right there. That's what we
want. And they do that in a lot of our communities. You think police find people in a vacuum? A lot of these cases get solved because people call in anonymously. Just because they're not out front talking to police don't mean that the community is not helping the police. There's a lot of people in the community that's helping the police. There's a lot of people in the community.
A lot more don't because
no, not a lot more don't. I think a lot more helps the police don't find these people in a vacuum. The police
do something else stupid. We got unsolved. I don't know about where you are, but here, Minneapolis is like basically murder capital. We got folks here, they're just lighting everybody up. There's a 12-year-old kid who just got shot. People are like, well, who did it? I ain't seen that. It's broad freaking daylight.
But how do you know people are not calling into the police?
Because folks still ain't been arrested. That
doesn't mean anything. You still got to have proof. Dude, a lot of people in the community do not want these things to happen. A lot of people in the community do contact and work with the police, probably behind the neighbors' backs because they don't want to be killed. You can't expect people and be like, hey, you got to put yourself in danger so that way these people, you're talking about criminals, dude, that's going to do criminal things. People have families. People got to put food on the table. People got to go to school. People got to go to work. Like, you asking them to endanger their lives, which a lot of people are helping behind the scenes. So we can't pretend like our community is any different than other communities. Like, we help people help the police in our community. We help the police in our community.
My friend Mickey Frost runs it's the 8 to 18 Truth Center, right? It's all about catching kids from 8 to 18 and trying to help get them out of gangs and things of that nature, right? He settles gang beefs and everything else. He's the first one that says, look, man, y'all need to start just telling. It is what it is. If it's only snitching if you was involved in the crime, right? Otherwise, you a witness. If you was involved in the crime and you tell, that's snitching. You need to get your butt whooped for that because you shouldn't be doing that. That's some dirty fool. You do the crime, you pay the time. That is what it is. But if you a civilian, the civilian is supposed to rat you out. The civilian's supposed to point because you ain't supposed to be seen by the civilians doing your dirt. Right? That's how it's supposed to be. Those are the rules. Not this whole, well, I ain't gonna say nothing. That's what he did was wrong. I watched him break in your house. I just don't say nothing. Like, seriously.
I think, but again, I think most people that the whole snitching culture are a lot of other criminals that don't want to be snitched on themselves. The thing is, people,
full of people.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
No one did anything. Apparently somebody recorded it on cell phone, which I don't understand how that's even happening. But
yeah, but the person got arrested, right?
Anything.
The person got arrested, right?
Yeah, because somebody recorded it. Dude, like they said like the joke was after they beat up Rodney King when they was like, "Look, don't film me getting my ass whooped. Come help me."
Again, some people are like this, like the fight or flight mentality. Some people are designed that they'll help. Others are designed that they won't help. So I mean, it's the fight or flight. Like, people, you can't expect people to behave the way you will behave.
You can't get mad if nothing changes. I'm sorry.
Yes, you can, because you have like nothing. Okay, you could tell on. So say you live in a gang infested neighborhood. You could tell on gang people doing shootings until your face turns green. They're still going to be living in a gang-infested neighborhood and have to deal with the consequences. Until we start tackling the root problem of these issues, we're not going to see change. You can tell on everybody in your neighborhood.
If the neighborhood doesn't allow the gangs to infest it.
How do you prevent it?
Let them know you ain't gonna handle it.
How? I mean, what does that mean?
He said it best. You have to be willing to stand up and say, we are not allowing this stuff here. Like, the more people in the neighborhood that don't allow the crap, they'll go other places because they're nothing but targets of opportunity. If there's no
or kill the people in the neighborhood, right?
You said what?
Or kill the people in the neighborhood.
They're not going to go through all that. Their gangs ain't going to.
What do you mean? They do it all the time.
They gonna go.
They do it all the time. You have to understand. Dude, people have been fighting gangs in poverty-stricken communities forever, and the gangs are still there. You don't think people in Inglewood, Chicago, is marching in the streets, are talking about nonviolence, that's having people come in? They're doing this all the time. What more? Like, what do you want them to do?
Look, Chicago's a different beast. They shot up a stop the shooting march. Like, all right, that's a
they're shooting people at funerals. I mean, for people that they already killed.
The funeral home in Shadow Boy. These people,
right? So if the gangs are willing to do this stuff, you're talking about like, hey, just stop them. It's always easy to say that. It's hard to implement. The community can come together. They may come together trying to do this.
We need serious resources, and
that's what it is.
The police ain't gonna do it. What we need is
police. Well, nobody's talking about removing the police. Nobody's talking about removing the police.
What we need is police who live in the communities that they police. If police lived in the communities they police, that would really, really shut down gangs quick. To be fair, because if you shoot up a cop's house, man, you know what happens. Like, well, put a couple cops in the hood, there'll be some gangs gone real quick.
I think we have to be careful because, like, without communities having resources and alternative for kids not to join gangs, they shut down community centers. Oh, that's by design. They want the gangs to happen. They want So it's hard to say like people just should.
Government wants this because
I don't know that the government wants it. I don't know that the government wants it.
They're the ones who put everybody in these little 12 square block areas. All right, so here's how you stop it, Jesse. First, let's just deal with like low income people, right? Not just low income, like low, like no job, been on welfare, got like 8 kids, and you've been on welfare. Your mom's on welfare. Your
oh my God,
welfare,
really?
All that. Right?
What?
Let's deal
What?
with those
Can you
people
even
first.
be on welfare forever?
Dude, there's people who I know. There's generations on welfare. That's not like that. They're not. Right?
Dude, most people on welfare work. Let's be honest about that.
If you live on the system,
most people on welfare work.
What?
Right? Most people that's on welfare work in some capacity or another.
No, I know tons that don't. But let me finish.
But most people, like 80%, work.
I said, let's not deal with. I'm talking to people who are completely dependent upon the system. Yes, if you work at Walmart's so freaking dirty, you might need a little extra help, right? They just need to freaking shut Walmart down. But here's the thing: if the state pays for everything, that they provide your food and your shelter, right? If I'm paying for all that, you do not get to dictate to me where you live. And what we're going to do is we're still going to pay you, but we're going to give you a test and find out what your skill set might possibly be, and then we're going to move you to where that skill set can be best put to use, right? Even if that means we got to put if you show that you are blessed with, you can make flowers grow and you can plant stuff, we'll send you. I'm in Minnesota. I'll use that as a reference. Or you're in Wisconsin. We're going to put you out in the farming world, and you're going to learn how to grow food and plant stuff because you have a skill for it. Right? Why not?
What? Dude, what are you talking about?
Well, it's no different than trade school, Jesse. Literally no different than trade school. You're going to learn how to use your skills to make money. And let's not act like they don't make bank. All right. Farmers make money. All right. That can maybe trigger something and give them a skill. They're like, farmers do actually
make money.
Farmers actually do make money. It's
what farmers? Like, you talking about corporate farms?
The farmers we deal with make money. I don't know. You have this thing where farmers just don't do, like all farmers are just piss poor or something. Dude, you've been to farms, I'm assuming.
Not a lot. But I know we have a lot of farms in Wisconsin. That's going out of business daily.
I have no idea what's going on there. We
have tons of farms that's going out of business daily. Farms are just not viable today. Like because of industrial farms, because of free trade agreement. I mean, I think a lot of farmers are going out of business, so we can't say farmers make a lot of money. So your references to me is sort of like your reference to me sound like let's make them pick cotton. That's what your reference sound like to me.
Because
oh my God!
If you have Jesse, if you have a skill towards electronics, we're going to send you to a trade school, but we're going to move you because I'm in Minnesota once again. We're going to move you to the South Metro, and you're going to go to a trade school in the South Metro, like Lake.
So you think people?
Because you need to scatter people.
Wait! You think they have a skill set in electronics? Dude, think about how that sound. You
go in Lakeville, go to a trade school in Dakota. Oh, that's
right. But you're saying like you're trying to find a skill set. You think people on welfare have a skill set in electronics and they just sit at home?
Everybody has a skill set.
Come on, man. Come on, dude. Let's be realistic.
So
the problem is,
Jesse, people on welfare have no skills.
I never said that. I never said that.
Have a skill set. You just have to find out what it is. The problem is people are just when you get on welfare, it's impossible to get off. There is no let's figure out.
It's not impossible to get off.
Dude, they screw you to get you off. They screw you. The minute you get a job, it's over. Right? The minute.
Okay, dude. Okay. Like we always talking about people on welfare, which baffles me. It baffles me because we have billionaires racing to go out of space just to fly Captain Kirk into space, and we're talking about poor Americans that making a few $100s a month and what they should be doing. The thing is, it doesn't matter until people start paying a fair share. We can talk about this all we want. We have Walmart that's making billions and billions of dollars yearly, but and they're the biggest employer in every state, yet 90% of their employees is on welfare because they don't pay anything. Yet everybody, but the stockholders are rich. So the thing is that until you want people to go work, COVID exposed that how poor people are treated when it comes to work. And that's why people are not going back to work at these low-end income jobs, because they realize 90% of the country is one paycheck away from being homeless or needing help from the government. And that's the thing, is that until we start having fair wages and people have incentive to actually work for peanut, you got people still making $8 an hour or $9 an hour, yet they can't afford a one-bedroom apartment in the city they live in. It doesn't matter. You can work 40 hours a day and still be in poverty. These are the issues that we should be addressing, not whether somebody is sitting at home getting a few $100s a month, where we giving Israel billions of dollars for defense contracts, or we giving Taiwan billions of dollars to defend them, or we spent $20 trillion in Afghanistan for rebuilding, yet we can't even get an infrastructure bill to get one Republican on board here. Dude, we focus. Wait,
Afghanistan.
Yeah, that's what but we as Americans focus on the wrong thing. We're always focused on the low end American. Like, oh my God, you're getting a $400 check from the government. Oh my God, but never mention the tax write-offs that the billionaires get. Trump paid $700 in taxes. After making billions of dollars, he's making $250 million off just his campaign fund or his political PAC, and it's free money. Right. Free money. If you know how to
illegal activities, that's no one pays.
It's not illegal. He literally making money. The thing is, we're not taxing people we're not taxing people who make money off the stock markets or anything like that. Yeah, those people
do. They get taxed huge, dude. Those are your capital gains taxes, man. People get taxed. You don't make money on the stock market and not get taxed. That's a 45% hit. It doesn't matter.
If you pull the money out.
If you don't pull the money,
but if they leave the money in, you're not being taxed on it.
What? So Jesse, you don't pay tax on stocks?
I don't want to incriminate myself. Look. I'm just saying, if the money is not being removed,
stocks themselves are actually nothing. It's an investment. You're talking about taxing an investment. So you make an investment. You're talking about taxing an investment. So what? So that means, if I want to open up a business, means I have to invest in that business. I have to pay tax off what I want to open the business with right off the top.
Don't you? Don't you have to pay? Don't you have to pay for taxes coming in?
It's called income tax. It's not investment tax. You don't get when you buy something, you pay tax on it. All
right. So you're telling me. Listen to this. So you think people that invest because they don't want their money taxed, they put $20 million into the stock market. They double it.
When they take it out, you tax the hell out of it. But it's called income tax. You can't tax.
There's different types of taxes, dude. There's sales tax. We have different types of taxes.
There's sales tax, but it's not an investment. So if you want to open up a business and you find an angel investor, and that angel investor wants to invest $150,000 with you, you're saying that they got to actually not only give you the $150,000, they got to pay a tax on $150,000 that they're giving you to open up your business.
I'm saying if I give them $300,000 back, they should get a tax.
Yes, absolutely. That's what happens.
Right. So if you invest $20 million and make $20 million and don't take it out, you telling me they shouldn't be taxed on it?
If you don't take out the $20 million, there's nothing to tax.
So now they have $40 million to invest, and it just keeps getting larger and larger. And then all you have to do is open up a few 50C1s and open up
501Cs.
So open up a few. Yeah, open up a few things. You can spend money on this, spend money on that, get tax write-offs, and save your money. You can also move into another country and save your money.
Yes, see, nonprofits help the community. That's what nonprofits are for.
And also good tax write-offs.
Okay, you want instead of having somebody use their cash to help the community directly, you want them to pay taxes so the government can do what?
Wait. I'm not saying they shouldn't invest in 50C1s or 501C. They should invest in nonprofit. But I'm saying it's also a way to get around taxes. It's also by creating your own 501C.
Dude, there's always a way. How do you?
Yes.
Always a way.
Billionaires pay less than 1% of their income in taxes.
Those are the tax
me and you, we pay what? 25, 30%?
No. Change the tax laws or learn how to do.
Yes, that's my point. That's what I'm saying.
But it's easy. Changing the tax laws is simple. You know what a great.
It's not simple because Republicans won't allow it unless it only benefits the 1%.
He had a great tax plan, and both sides went off on him. The Democrats smacked him, and Republicans smacked him. His plan was 999. I don't give a damn what it is. You're paying 9%. Everybody pays it across the board. That was like
a flat tax.
The flat tax made sense because it was on everything, right? It didn't matter, and I was like, I kind of get that. That means everybody does it. And no matter how you look at
So
it.
you think somebody working at McDonald's should say to pay the same in income and same in taxes as Jeff Bezos?
Well, if we're gonna be fair, people at McDonald's probably pay more tax than Jeff Bezos. Jeff
That's
Bezos,
the problem. At least you finally admitted it. I mean,
Jeff Bezos has a ton of other write-offs. Like once again, if it goes to a straight tax where there's no write-offs, Jeff Bezos would pay so much money to be unreal because there'll be no write-offs. And
I understand that, but we're talking about 2 or 3 different things at one time. Are you saying that you believe people that work at McDonald's should pay the same amount of taxes as Jeff Bezos or Warren Buffett?
Yes.
You think everybody should pay the same?
Yes. If I work at McDonald's and I make $30,000 a year, I pay 9% in my taxes. If Jeff Bezos makes $39 billion, he pays 9%. Is right? What is 9% of $39 billion?
Doesn't matter, dude. Why are people of different income brackets paying the same amount of taxes? It's ridiculous. 9% to somebody working at McDonald's is a lot different than 9% for somebody making $39 million a year.
Right,
so to try to compare the two, to try to keep the two,
a lot more.
Trying to keep the two fair, that means the person that's paying 9% at McDonald's is going to live in way more poverty, way more problems, way more issues. He's going to have to choose between medicine and paying rent. He's going to have to choose between food and paying rent. He's not going to have anything left when it's time to retire.
The person's going to be a cook at McDonald's forever, right? What about the restaurant? What about the person who runs the restaurant who makes $100 grand? 9% of $100 grand is way more than 9% of $9 an hour, right? And there's a certain point where there's a certain income where there's no tax liability anyway. So let's not act like there's not. 70% of the country doesn't actually pay taxes, not a penny. They have no tax liability, zero. So your argument doesn't actually hold water because they don't pay taxes.
What do you mean it doesn't hold water? People, everyday people is still paying more in taxes than your billionaires and your millionaires that you're trying to defend for the tax code.
I'm not defending anybody. 70% of the country.
Yes, you are, dude.
They have no tax liability.
Your point is that rich people pay more because they have more money. So even if they pay less of a percentage, they're fine because they have more money. That's what it appears your argument to be. They pay more in taxes just by default.
Literally, your argument is rich people should pay a higher percentage because they have more money.
Yes,
they already pay more.
Yeah, that's the basic argument. No, I say they should pay a higher percentage.
They should pay a higher percentage. Fair. How much of a percentage should you actually pay?
They should pay more than I pay.
What do you pay?
I think I don't even remember now. What am I, like 34%, 39%? I don't even know. I'm somewhere around that.
There's some people who have zero. You pay 34%.
You keep talking about the 0%. I'm talking about me
I'm saying
and you.
Pay 34%, right? I pay 45.
Somewhere around there.
I pay 45. Right? So would I be paying my fair share?
If you're paying 45%,
exact rights. Neither one of us get anything from the system. Right? Which one of us is not paying our fair share?
I'm paying 1/3 of what I got. How much more do I need to pay? I think we both paying our fair share. You might be paying too high if you're paying 45%. I don't know. But I'm saying when billionaires, okay, dude, you're changing the conversation because billionaires are paying.
Corporations don't pay.
And neither do billionaires.
Well, billionaires don't take a salary. That's why you can't tax nothing.
Again, they have stocks and bonds and mutual funds that they're making money off of.
And those are taxed.
All right, let's move on. Hey, let's move on with the topic, man.
Those two, I admit it. They will move those to some nice tax shelters in the Cayman Islands.
Yes, finally you admit it, man. This is the issue. All you have to do is move it, or you can move it to South Dakota, which now is a new tax haven, which is ridiculous. But South Dakota is the new tax haven, like crazy.
Well, how many states don't have state tax? What, 5?
I know a few. Texas, Florida,
California. Is it South Dakota now? No state tax?
I don't know. I know South Dakota became a tax haven, and that's crazy. But that's where we at. But hey,
well, South Dakota needs a tax haven, man. They got no people there, and they all died of COVID. Like they need to get to.
Well, they do have
their population.
They do have what's the motorcycle event every year? Sturgis. I mean, they get a lot of people doing that.
They all died from that, man. They all got COVID.
Dude, I have not touched.
But no, I understand what you're saying, and I do think that if you're Walmart and you're a corporation, instead of getting attacked, because states, once again, states say, hey, Jesse, bring your corporation to Minnesota, and if you open it up in Blaine, then we'll make sure you won't have to pay any taxes. Just employ people in Blaine. You're not going to say no. You're going to be like, yep, I'm going to Blaine. You are absolutely going to move to Blaine. And you're absolutely going to hire people from there because you're not going to have to pay the taxes, right? But if they just simply stop that, if they just simply stop doing it. But the problem is, Jesse's corporation's like, hey, say, Joe Biden, I see you're running again. Here's a quick $2.5 million for your campaign. Now, what I need you to do, I need you to vote no on the removing of the tax shelter, right? And you're going to go,
yeah,
got you covered. We need to eliminate that. At some point, we tried to remove lobbyists under Obama, and that got shot, right? The pharmaceutical.
So now we have Citizen United, where corporations are treated like people.
Oh my God, that became a law. Like they are people. No, they're only people as far as as far as how they make contributions. They're not people for other things. And Kelly.
So somebody said Bezos would pay $351 million. McDonald's worker would pay $2,700. And only thing I say to that is that $2,700 a year to somebody that's making $31,000 is a big deal. $351 million to somebody making $14 billion is not. It's just not a big deal. I mean, it's not a big deal. If you make $14 billion a year and you only have to live off, I don't even know what is 14. I'm saying $14 billion. It's not $14 billion.
No, it was like
let's say it's like $3 billion. Let's say $3 to $4 billion. So, okay, instead of living off $3 billion a year, you only got $2.5 billion that you can live off of. I mean, I could tell how struggling that. I mean, that's a struggle. I mean, I can understand how you would struggle to pay the light bill with that, right? I can see how you could be getting behind on your gas bill, you know. But anyway,
it's entirely possible. No, I'm kidding. It's not possible. All right, I can't play devil's advocate anymore. I can't do it.
All right. Yes, so let's move along. Let's move along. One of the hot topics out now, huh?
That's a rich.
One of the hot topics out now. I can't hear you.
Out now is
one of the hot topics out now is Dave Chappelle, right?
Oh. Yeah.
So Netflix CEO actually apologized and said he handled the Dave Chappelle thing wrong. He didn't think he still agreed with like having Dave Chappelle stream and stuff like that, right. But he felt he handled it wrong, and I thought he handled it wrong too with the in your face type attitude. Although I think I do believe
Dave Chappelle was right.
I don't know that Dave Chappelle. Like, you know what? I think.
You can talk about killing black folks on TV. You can use nigga. You can use all that stuff on TV. You can destroy black folks on TV. You can offend black people all day long. What you cannot do is offend the LGBT, is offend the alphabet people, like he said. And that's how he said it, right? And people got pissed. But he wasn't wrong. Think about it. Black folks are just represented horribly in the media and on TV and on major popular TV shows daily. No one says nothing. You offend a gay person, and all of a sudden, their life's over, and it's World War III. He's not
okay.
Wrong.
All right, but part of it is There's a couple things going on here, right? So first of all, in this day and age, you can't really offend black people either because you'll be off. Roseanne is a good, you know. Although we still understand that we still live in a racist country, but nowadays you're going to be called to the carpet no matter what group you offend. Let's be real. But second off, I think one thing about Dave Chappelle is that I think his show kind of got twisted because when I looked at it as an ally of the LGBT community instead of like an enemy. Because I think what I got from it is that he was trying to normalize transgender and transgender rights, and the only way he can do it because he can't just come out and say like, these people should be treated normal. These people should be treated bad. And he's also black, and he's delivering to the black community, the white community. But he's also like, it's not going to be accepted just coming out and saying, hey, these people need to be treated fairly. You know, I mean, even at the end of his conversation, he said, I knew your father. He was a hell of a woman. I mean, he always talks about, he also allowed his friend to open up for him at every show. He talked about how funny she was. And this is not the first time he talked about it. He talked about it in previous shows. And one of the main things he said before, like, until we start to normalize or make fun of, like,
Yep.
to the LGBT community, nobody's going to treat him as normal. Not saying I agree with it, but my point is that I think he trying to normalize it in the only way he can, and that's be funny, that's deliver it to a lot of people that don't want to hear it, and you can't just give it to them and be like, dude, you can't force people to accept it. But he said so many things in a conversation that to me show that he want to normalize LGBT community. You know, he even mentioned like, oh, I'm not horny tonight, I'm not having sex with you tonight. Like what black man is gonna, what straight black man, or if he's straight, like gonna get up in front of people and joke about that without feeling some insecurities? But he didn't care. He made these type of comments. He said things like this, you know, and I think he want people to understand, like, until you're able to make fun of them like you do everybody else, no one's just going to look at him like they do everyone else. And again, I don't know if he's right or wrong. I just looked at it like he was trying to come off as an ally instead of an enemy, and people didn't take it that way. And I understand why people can have hurt feelings, you know, because, I mean, he said some things that would offend people. But again, when has he stopped offending people since he
it's what he
been
does.
a comedian? That's what he does. And you can't cancel Dave Chappelle because he's the people that listen to him. I mean, like, it's certain people it's hard to cancel. Dave Chappelle, I don't think is really like a mainstream personality where you could threaten his sponsors and it works, because he does a lot of stand-up. He does a lot of, you know, he does specials.
Yeah, he does it in his house.
So it's hard to cancel people like that. But
I think I agree. Well, I think what he did was say, look, if you can get joked about too. You're no different than anybody else. There's no. When he jokes about it, what it is you're not special, and I think that's what he was trying to say. There's nothing special about you. You happen to be LGBT, whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't give a damn who you sleep with. I don't care what clothes you wear. I'm gonna if you do something funny or see something funny, I'm gonna talk about you. That's what he does, and I think that's really cool.
And Mallory makes a good point here, is that one reason why Dave is problematic is because he refuses to acknowledge that gender is not synonymous with sex. And the thing is,
he did that on purpose to make it so the conversation can be had. He did that on purpose. He knows that it's not synonymous with sex. He actually acknowledged that. What he did, though, because people don't. So in order for a comedian to actually be funny, you have to be funny with it, right? So what he actually did was, he used the stereotype, because that's what makes it literal funny, and then he breaks it down. And at the end, if people actually watched his special instead of just reading about it in the paper, they would realize.
Well, I think a lot of people watched the special too. No, so I would say that.
No, they read about it and then they watched with a preconceived notion, and they just sat back getting mad, and you miss everything. Once you make your mind up about it, so before you watch it, that show's gonna be everything you want it to be, and it is. All you do is sit and wait for the gotcha moments.
So I honestly think this is going to be a tough subject. I think Dave did bring it into the forefront. Right. I think he did bring it into. I think he's going to have a real conversation at the risk of, you know, the cancel culture. But I mean, to the point of like sex and gender, this is going to be something that we debate over all the time. It's a subject that, I mean, I just accept that.
Well, here's the problem: LGBTQ in its initials puts together sex and gender. Literally, it unites sexual preference and gender.
I think you're thinking way too deep into the the letters that represent the diverse groups.
Because literally,
I think you are, because they're just initials, dude. They're just initials of the first group.
Right.
I mean, the first letter of.
Right, but that's literally it. Gay is lesbian, right?
What?
Is a lesbian gay?
I'm not sure the answer to that.
Okay,
I'm not sure the answer to that.
What is homosexual?
Homosexual is someone that likes the same sex.
Is a lesbian the person who likes the same sex?
Yes, but you didn't. That wasn't your question.
Yeah, no, it is. What's a gay man?
I don't know.
You're full of shit.
I don't want to answer something where like I get trapped into something that I don't. I can see some sort of trap coming.
Who likes the same sex, right?
Okay, I can see some I can see some kind of trap coming.
Lesbian and gay. What's the freaking difference? Besides, it's one's a woman and one's a dude.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I accept whatever people label themselves. I'm good with that.
Except for you, I'm cool. I don't care what you do or what you wear or anything. I just don't like calling one person two people.
Why?
I'm not.
Why do you care? Why do you care?
I know English.
What does that have to do with anything?
English. You can't be a they.
If tomorrow you tell me you got a new name, I'll just call you by your new name.
But you can't be a they. And you can't be a
what?
them. You, Jesse,
I don't even know what that means.
Personally, yourself be a they.
I don't know what that means.
Can be a they, but you, Jesse, yourself cannot be a they.
So if I wanted to be called they, you'll have a problem with it?
If you want to be called sheep, I don't give a damn. You'll be a sheep.
Right. So why does it matter? Why are you saying you can't be this or you can't be that?
Sheep is just a term, but they is plural.
Okay, so what? Why do you care? Why does it bother you if they want to be called day or if they want to be called the moon? Why do you care?
I'm not a fan of redefining words, to be really honest.
Why? Why do you care? How does it impact you?
Why do I care? Because at what point? So if you just, my only issue with it, literally, like I said, is one person can't be two. I don't care about.
You obviously care because you're telling me one person can't be two.
One person can't be two because it's one person. They is two people.
Okay. But who cares? If you tell me to call you they, I call you they. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't. It's so minor. It doesn't
matter. For some of us, words matter.
Why does it matter what other people want to be addressed as?
Because one person's one person's just not two. Simple. I don't know how else to say it to you. One person is not two, and I know it's really.
I understand that. What I'm saying is, why does it matter to you if they want to be called they?
I like.
Why not just call it? Why not just acknowledge it, call them they, and move on? Huh?
Interesting. You adhere to a language that was forced upon you. Ooh, this is good. Yes, I adhere to the American language because I live in America. However, if I lived in China, I would speak Chinese. If I lived in Paris, I would speak French. If I lived in the Congo, I'd speak Swahili. Seriously, I speak where I live. So yeah, I guess I do adhere to the language that was forced upon me because I speak where the hell I live. But that's just, I don't know, common sense. Right.
My whole thing is like, just being a considerate person and thinking about other people's feelings. If somebody really wanted me to call them they instead of him or her, I'll call them they. It's just not that big of a deal to me that I need to feel like they're doing something wrong or they're like, it's just not a.
Most of them do it out of humor because it's fun, Jesse, and you know me. But I like joking the fact that it's really not one person can't be two. I just like joking about it. And people might get mad about it, but still, you know what? I didn't choose to be two people. You did. So you got to deal with the joke.
We went over our hour slot, and I want to keep it fresh. Hey, this was a great hour, a great initiation premiere hour. I can't wait to get you back on next week so I can light it to you. But it was an interesting conversation for our premiere.
To the Patriots,
huh?
We're going to discuss your obsession with the Patriots next week. That's gonna be the topic. And Cam Newton, and we'll talk about Cam Newton. You can destroy my Vikings, but for this, in this instance, next week, I will represent my other favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh my God! Here you go. You might as well talk about why you switching from the Vikings to the Cowboys, but we're not going to talk about that this week.
My first football game, Met Stadium, the Dallas Cowboys versus Minnesota Vikings. Drew Pearson made a hell of a catch. Is what it is.
All right. Thanks for everybody who tuned in. Thanks for everybody who sent us questions. Again, we'll be able to take calls too. I love that everybody is.
Mallory was about it. I like Mallory.
Yeah, we got quite a few people.
She should like don't list their questions. We should just answer them.
But Hey, thanks everybody. We're gonna be doing this weekly show. We want to keep it short to keep it fresh because we know people got things to do and we don't want to take up too much time. Thanks for putting up with an hour for us. But we'll be right back next Wednesday at 7:30, bringing it to you again. If y'all want to send us questions offline or anything like that for us to talk about, hey, we're willing to do that. But hey, thanks for checking us out on Wait What, and I'm having fun with this, and we'll be right. Hey, next week we'll be doing it again. Hey, Absolutely. Good job, Andre. All right, hey man, I gotta educate you before next week, dude.
Yeah, right. I'm going to take the opposite side of you every time because I can.
No, because that's what you believe, and I gotta break you of it. So don't try to blame that when you because you're wrong.
Don't play devil's advocate. That's my role.
Sure, you can tell it whatever you want. Hey, here's your story. I'll let you tell it. But hey, thanks, man. Hey, we'll do it again next week, and we'll be right back at it, man. Thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate you, and we'll be right back next week. Absolutely. Peace.
That was hilarious.